suppose we have to close this before we cut ourselves.
And we should be live.
All right, I guess we're live.
Hold on. Yeah, we're good.
You never quite know when YouTube's going to do that live thing. Every time you do a live, there's always that beginning moment where it's like, are we live? Are we for real? What are we doing? Okay, now we can turn it on for a minute. It's always a grand thing. I'm told to wait a few minutes before we get started. I guess I'll give you guys a teaser of the giveaway today. Today our giveaway is this guy right here, the Concept Little Main Street. This one's got a titanium blade and a titanium handle and an S35 VN blade. Nice frame lock, milled pocket clip. Fancy indeed. If you want to win this one, you got to make sure you're 18 years or older, you live in the United States of America, and you have watched our video from last week, our live knife debate, Tanto versus Drop Point. Everything you need to know to win this is going to be in that video. All right, let's see who's here. Dragon, hello, good to see you again, Dragon. We see Dragon pretty regularly around here. Lonnie Hutchinson, what's up? How you doing? Everybody, it's good to see you. It's a Monday morning. I'll tell you, it is a rainy day outside here in Utah, and I don't think anybody wanted to be here this morning because we kind of all came in super sleepy, but we'll get excited because we're talking new knives today. Hi from Western MA, is that Massachusetts? All right. What's the question for the giveaway? Well, I'll tell you the question for the giveaway when it's time to do the giveaway after the new knives section. But I'll tell you the answer to that question is found in that knife debate video from last week. Rafi Basilius, hello from France. Hello, France. We haven't had a lot of French folks in our chat before, have we? Welcome, welcome. We love friends from all over the world. Tanto for the win, Jason Ferriani. He was in the live. He was throwing some shots at the drop point. He actually made a lot of compelling points. Long Island, first time on your live. Jackson Patchkey, welcome, welcome. I hope you join us in many lives in the future. Austin, Texas. I do love Austin. I was talking to my sister yesterday about how we want to make a road trip just so we can go to Torchy's. But I think there's one in Denver. But all you Austin folks will know Torchy's. Adirondack Mountains, New York. The Adirondacks are pretty. I always thought the Adirondacks were in Alaska until somebody's like, nope, they're in like the eastern United States. How about that? Aloha from Oahu, Hawaii. I wish I was in Oahu, Hawaii. Man, I don't know, is living in Hawaii as nice as just visiting? I imagine the commute could get lame. I don't know. Hello from France also, but I'm American. Jason G, what are you doing in France, man? I suppose it'd be there. Hi from Switzerland, the land of my inheritance. Jan Balmer, yes, my family came from Switzerland. My great-great-great-great-grandfather, Nicholas Muhlstein, was a watchmaker in Switzerland. And I've got to get me a Swiss-made watch because of that, because it's in my blood. Yeah, hey man, the first to say my last name correctly, Patchkey. I just made a wild guess on that one, so thanks, Jackson. It was all luck. I don't actually know any languages or how to say words. New York is not a good state to own knives. I'm sorry, buddy. I feel you. We actually did a big thing with Doug Ritter from Knife Rights about switchblade laws. And the more you learn about the history of switchblade laws, the less you like them. So I'm sorry, New York. But the good news is gravity knives are basically legal in your state because they had a win. All right. Hello from St. Louis, Missouri. If anybody has seen Ethan, tell him we have a live. Yeah, where's Ethan? He can't claim to be in Florida this time. What a guy. All right, let's see him. We good to get started, Peter? Yeah. All right. So as always, I'm going to pause for just a moment, and then I'm going to run through the entire new knives video as though you guys aren't even there. And then afterwards, we're going to go over whatever questions you may have, and we're going to give away the Concept Little Main Street. If you want to win this, make sure you've watched our video from last week about the knife debates, and especially make sure that you are 18 years or older and you live in the United States. But other than that, let's go through some new knives. Welcome to New Knives, everybody. Today is tax day. It is April 15th, 2024, and we are going to talk about some new knives. So when that tax return hits, check out some of these. Starting off with the Hawk Knives Shortcut. So G&G Hawk, Grant and Gavin Hawk, is a company that has been pioneering in the world of knife innovation for the last ever. We sadly lost Grant Hawk last year, but Gavin is carrying the banner forward, and this is one of the coolest things ever. So this is a utility knife, takes that same blade you can find at every gas station, and then it has an integral titanium handle. So right now we're starting off pretty bougie. One thing I love about the Hawk knives is their pocket clips. They have a little lever here so you can open it up and it lands on your pocket, and then it clamps down nice and tight, but then it's easy to get in and out on that jimping as well. It's a pocket clip that I really wish was on every knife, but it's something we tend to only see on the Hawks. Then we have a titanium frame and this very interesting locking mechanism. So I forget exactly what they've called it, but Chris Reeve has used it where it sort of latches onto the handle. But this is making it an interesting closing mechanism too. So I don't know if you guys saw that. It opens with this flipper, and then you hit this thumb stud and dink! It is one of the fidgetiest knives. And I always feel like I'm gonna cut myself, but I never have doing that. To be fair, I've only held this for the last hour or two. I'm sure I could do something dumb and cut myself with it. But what a clever mechanism from Grant and Gavin Hawk. These ones are a little bit pricey, but they are definitely an innovative and fidgety tool. These drop tomorrow, so make sure you are on our email list. You'll get all the information there, but the Hawk shortcut is coming soon. Next up, we have a big restock from Vero Engineering. Maybe not a restock, but we're getting some stuff. First, we have the Axon. I'd say this is one of the flagships of the Vero Engineering lineup. This one's got this beautiful marble carbon fiber handle, this M390 blade. And what I love about these is how cleverly they hide their openers. So this one, it has the front flipper here, but it doesn't stick out like a front flipper. There's not a beak here. It's very clean. And then here we have these thumb grooves. So if you want to open it with your thumb, you can. You want to flick it, you can. Sort of gives you all the benefits of a thumb hole, but it gives you the clean appearance of no thumb hole. And then if you want to run that front flipper all day long. Very nice indeed. I really admire the work that Joseph Farrow does. His designs are so clean. They are premium. They have a nice feel in the handle. You kind of get this 2-finger grip in the choil here that pushes the edge ever so slightly forward. Makes it a very usable knife as well. And when it comes to usable knives, it doesn't get a whole lot more usable than a kitchen knife. And Vero Engineering coming through here with the Chef 6. This one's got a Nitro V blade, and then as an homage to the other designs he has, we have the little inlay here. It's not gonna open. You can't Spidey flick a kitchen knife, but I suppose you could try. But it's cool. Marble carbon fiber handle, full tang. This feels like a kitchen knife, very light, nimble in the hand. Oh, that's probably what this thing's here for. It's for the pinch grip, because a lot of people like the pinch grip. I'm a hammer grip guy. I know that all the kitchen people out there are like, no man, you get no control, all that. Listen, I know I'm not that good at cutting stuff with kitchen knives. But if you prefer the pinch grip, it's right there for you. Joseph Vero coming through. Excellent hair, excellent knife designs. What a guy. So the Axon is going for $345 and the Chef 6 is going for $265. Excuse me, $255. But those are really awesome. I'm really excited to be seeing a lot of Vero stuff here at Blade HQ because seriously, awesome work from Joseph Vero. Next up, from ProTech, we have the new exclusive CQC7. And what's special about this one is instead of the Tanto blade, we have the Spear Point blade. And the Spear Point blade has a true flat grind on both sides, not the chisel grind that we have come to know and love on the CQC7. So the chisel grind is really great. Ernest Emerson is an edged weapons expert, and the chisel grind has the benefits of creating an asymmetrical wound channel, which can be a little more potent if you have to use your knife in a tactical setting. But for everyday carriers, people outdoors, sometimes you like that double bevel. It's going to be a little more easy on wood and food and paper and that sort of thing. And here we get it. So we get the spear point. So I think if you love this handle like I do, and this is something that you would actually want to get out and carry and not necessarily use for a tactical role, this is the one, man. This is a great blade shape, but it still is an Emerson design through and through. Love it. We got a 20 CV blade, JG10, Blade HQ exclusive. And this one goes for $265. Next up from Maxace, we have the Orion. It's been a long time since I held a Maxace that just said, you want this so bad. And it really does. Maxace makes a lot of very premium stuff, and their designs are, dare I say, artsy over functionality, but this one definitely proves me wrong there. This knife wants to go to work. We got a CPM MagnaCut blade with this nice high satin finish, kind of a Bowie tip with a very needle-like point, and this handle just fits my hand so well. One of my favorite things a handle can have is this little notch right here at the back, because I prefer the hammer grip, and that can sometimes give me a hot spot on my thumb. I've gotten a blister here who knows how many times. But this, nothing. There's no rubbing there. Rest it on the spine, rest it around. that knife is going to be nice in the hand. And also, such a great price for titanium and MagnaCut, this big, this well built, for $188. What a deal. I hope these don't sell out too fast because I have to convince my wife to let me get one, and I don't know we have too many of them, so if you see this one, hop on it quick. I might be sad, but you will be happy. And ultimately, my job is to make you happy. And then next up, we have the Bestech Riverstone. This is from Frank Grissom. He's a guy I met at Blade Show West a couple of years ago. Very nice guy and a huge, passionate knife nerd. And I love his designs because they are a little bit different. They're very off the beaten path. And this thing is a small knife, don't get me wrong. They call it the Riverstone. I kind of feel like it's about the size of a stone you'd pick up out of a river and slay Goliath with. But it is a nice knife. We got an S35 VN blade, 154 CM blade on this one, G10 handle. I want to say a titanium backspacer, and what I love is this pocket clip. So the pocket clip has, here, I'll see if I can hold it in this way. You can see this little hook that comes out here that has some jimping on it. That's easy for your finger to grab onto. And then down here, you have a very generous ramp for your pocket to slide into. So even if your hands are sweaty or dirty or whatever, gloved, it's going to be easy to snag your hand on that jimping and pull this knife out of your pocket and then take it to work. It's a great knife. Very nicely done, Frank Grissom. $139, not a bad deal either. Then last on the table, we have the new for 2024 Cold Steel Espada XL with the gray G10 handles. So the Espada XL is the go-to meme knife around here, mostly because even though it is big and ridiculous, you can get two hands on it, it still has Cold Steel's triad lock, a tough AUS 10A blade. It's like a folding machete or a folding sword. I guess that's what espada means in Spanish. But it is tough and built like one. It wants to chop stuff. Very nicely done. Andrew Demko designed, and I'm excited to see it coming out with some colorways. We also got a red one earlier this year, and we'll see what new colors they have in the future. Now, one thing I will say is these locks take some time to break in. I have one of these, and my lock is very smooth and easy, but it wasn't always. But you have to really push on that thing to get it to close the first time. But after a few days or weeks of carrying it, it will break in and be slick as butter, lock up super tight every single time. Those are going for $159. I got the AUS 10A blade, so pick those up. New this week. Anyway, those are new knives for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Except for all you people in the live chat, because we got to give away a knife. But first, let's see if there's any questions in here that need answers. Maxace MagnaCut is 61 HRC. So I believe the spec sheet says 61 to 63 on HRC. So MagnaCut can be juiced a lot harder than that. Like I've seen it up to 65, and it will still give you excellent toughness and edge retention. But personally, if I'm choosing MagnaCut, I'm choosing it for its toughness, and I'm happy anywhere from 60 to 63. Because the edge retention isn't why I got it. If I wanted edge retention, I'd go for something else. That's just my opinion. I know I'm unpopular in that opinion. You guys rock on. Steel is a very personal decision. Praise be to Cold Steel and Lynn. Yes, Lynn Thompson, what an absolute legend. So we're actually doing a Cold Steel video that should be coming out this week. And I did some digging into the histories of Cold Steel and whatnot. And Lynn Thompson, I know he is a somewhat divisive figure at times, but that is a passionate and skilled man, and I love to see people like that making knives. He is there for the love of knives, not for the love of business. Somebody asked if I could flick open this Espada, and there you go. Somebody asks, Lynn, not much involved anymore, is he? So Lynn Thompson is getting old, everybody. He was born in 1951. He is well over 70 years old at this point. Just as all of you probably want to, it's time to retire. But the thing is for a retired guy, he is still way involved with Cold Steel. He has a ranch in Ojai, California, and they are out there, it seems like every week, testing some new product. But Lynn Thompson, a man, a legend. I'm glad that he's still hanging out with Cold Steel, even though he may not be at the helm anymore. All right, keep the blade half open and let it sit for a few days, and the lock will relax a bit on a Cold Steel. Todd Carr, you're a genius. Why have I never thought of that? So what he's saying is if your Cold Steel has a really hard lock, hold it open halfway like that and let it sit for a few days, and that'll weaken the spring just enough so that it'll work. That is genius. Todd Carr, where were you a year ago when I got mine? Okay. All right. I can't believe how cheap that Espada is. Me neither. I've said this before, and I will say it again. knives are not really feeling the burn of inflation, especially stuff made overseas. Like, we are seeing better knives now for cheaper than ever. Now, like, there's never a better time to get into knives than right now. Jeff Smooth, what got you into knives? So when I was a kid, I liked to just load stuff full of, like, bags full of stuff. And I ultimately thought, well, I'll tell you, it's really embarrassing. The movie Spy Kids 3, maybe it was the second one, with the one that had the giant animals in it. Anyway, they had this watch and it had all these functionalities. I'm like, that's so cool. And I talked to my dad, I'm like, I want to carry spy gadgets one day. I was like 5, by the way. And he says, well, you don't want to carry spy gadgets because they're all gimmicky, but you got to find that set of tools that is the most versatile. What is the thing that you can carry on you that will give you the most functionality? That's why I have a smartwatch, harken back to my beloved Spy Kids 2. But carrying a knife in your pocket is about the most versatile thing you can do. There's a reason that the humble knife was the first tool invented by humans, pretty much. Basically, they learned that you can sharpen a rock. Oh yes, that makes everything so much better. But now we have steel, and now we've got multi-tools, and I'm just like, function. So much of it. I love it. Such a great thing. And that's what got me into knives. All right, let's see. My grandpa collected knives, Case, pretty sure that's what got me into it. That's awesome. Those old school knives, I think they're some of the most collectible even now, because every year they have those same patterns that have been known and loved and proven for generations, but they're coming out with new handle materials and fun designs for them. My personal favorite is the Caribbean Blue saw cut jig coming out of Case. And then Buck with their ebony, and especially the ebony now where it's contracted with Taylor Guitars. Taylor built this thing, built this farm that sustainably grows ebony. And the reason sustainable is because it's an endangered species. If we still want ebony guitars, we're going to run out of ebony unless we can learn to farm it properly. But not every piece of ebony ends up in a guitar. What does it ends up on a buck knife, which is the coolest relationship ever, in my opinion. All right. Dope answer, George. Thanks, Jeff Smooth. All right, I've been told to do the giveaway. All right, so to win the Concept Little Main Street, remember you must be in the United States 18 years or older. And the question is, from our last video, the knife debate, what knife featured in that video had a Tanto blade on it? Let's see, Jason Randall, what is my favorite flipper? Ooh. I know it's boring, but I really like the Civivi Elementum. That's a good flipper. All right, Nkosi, Saint Sloth, the first answer we got. Nkosi, Chris Reeve Nkosi. Well done. Saint Sloth? Oh man, he answered it twice. Okay, Saint Sloth, how do you want to reach out? Do you want to reach out over email or social media? Whichever you prefer is fine with us. If it's Instagram, I can handle that here, but if it's email, I need to let customer service know, so let me know. Okay. Will Blade HQ get quiet carry knives? I don't know. Quiet carry knives are super popular and they're fairly small run is my understanding. But I'd be more than happy if we got them. But a lot of companies like that who make stuff that's very high demand but very low supply, they'll just manage all of their stuff direct. In fact, that's why we don't get regular Emerson knives anymore, because more people wanted them than they had the capacity to make, so they might as well just keep them. What do I think of Strider knives? I have a lot of respect for Strider knives, but the handle in my hand just isn't the best thing. I don't care for the big palms swell out the back. Yeah, but don't let that dissuade you from getting a Strider knife. Strider knives are awesome. Let's see. Fisker's X7 hatchet is a 2-splitter and chopper. Okay, Fisker's axes, I think, get a little bit too much hate in the axe world. I'm a closet axe nerd, I'll have you know. And people are like, you gotta have that wooden handle. It gets the old look, it's replaceable, it's user serviceable. I agree. My personal axe go-to is I have an old Holtzbrook Calyx, and mine has a Hoffman blacksmithing handle on it. But if you overstrike even once on a nicely thinned out hickory handle, you will probably break it. But I have seen people overstrike again and again and again on those Fisker's axes, like even the Mauls that have like a 4-pound head, and it just keeps coming back for more. So if you want an axe that you don't have to worry too much about and will be destroyable, then Todd Carr is right. That Fisker's, it's gonna be great. Okay, you should do recommendations on occupation. I'm a hospice field nurse. We'd have to do some research for that one, but that'd be a good time. I guess if I were a hospice nurse, what knife would I carry? I have no idea. Probably a Leatherman, honestly. If I carry a Leatherman, if I'm a hospice nurse, then I have the knife to open stuff, but I also have all the tools that it would take to maintain an oxygen tank or fix a wheelchair, that sort of thing. Also, to me, a multi-tool like this screams tool and not weapon, which can be especially important when it comes to the healthcare industry. Do you like The Outsiders and the knives they have in that movie? I have not seen The Outsiders. I'm sorry, I have not really seen a lot of movies, I'm realizing. People are still making fun of me in the comments for having not seen Predator. Okay, have we heard back from...
Yeah.
Okay, is it email or social? Instagram. Okay, perfect. Well, everybody, I would love to stay here and chat with you guys about knives and answer all of your questions. I'm very passionate about knives. I love them so much. But we'll be back next week at the same time, noon Mountain Standard Time. Come with all of your questions and more, and we will get talking about all the new knives next week, and we'll give away another knife as well. Congratulations to the winner of this one. Subscribe to Blade HQ for more knife content. We'll see you next time.